Good morning. Welcome to the Dreamland Live. Apologies for being 45 minutes late. We had some technical issues, but a huge thank you to Tyson for helping us out with this. So shout out to Namato Puro and Tyson and Pacifica Toa and every other place that Tyson works for. So before we start, we're going to do an acknowledgement of country. I'm coming from the Boomerang area, and Cam is coming from the Wurundjeri. So e te hui, whai a te mātauranga kia marama, kia whai take ngā mahi katoa, tū maia, tū kaha, aroha atu aroha mai, tātou ia tātou katoa. For this gathering, seek knowledge for understanding, have purpose in all that you do, stand tall, be strong. Let us show respect for each other. So yeah, that's us. I'll do my introduction. So I'm Breanne Peters. I'm 17, and I've been playing music since I was 3. I played classical piano and classical guitar, and went to the Victorian College of the Arts Secondary School in 2017, and I studied jazz guitar and classical guitar there. So yeah, I'll hand it over to Cam.
I'm Cameron Gilchrist. I am a singer, songwriter, and producer, also at the Victorian College of the Arts. I'm in year 11. I have been singing for a long time, since I was very little, and I've been producing for about 5 or 6 years now.
Awesome. So we're gonna dive into the meaning of the song. So we're just gonna work our way down, I guess. For the verse. Oh, so the song is about being trapped in your mind and looking for a way out. So the verse that I begin with, I want to be somebody, I want to tell my own story. Don't be relying on no one to plan out my moments of history. So knowing where you want to go, having a goal, knowing who you want to be, but not exactly knowing how to get there, and not wanting to press people down so that you can get there. I want to cherish the past, make opportunity last, and fight the silence of not knowing where you stand. So you want to make everything have a purpose, and you want to have a purpose, but I guess you don't know where you fit in. And I'll hand it over to Cam to talk about the pre-choruses.
So the pre-chorus is, I want to leave, get out of my own head. Will it be different to what I conceived? It's hard to admit, but so I guess this is generally furthering the meaning of the song, talking about, feeling trapped, within your own mind, within your own head. Yeah.
Awesome. So the chorus, I'm a puppet in dreamland, aligned in the thought of expectation. Just get me out of the simulation. So I'm a puppet in dreamland refers to not having control of your mind's thoughts, being a puppet in your mind, not being able to control it. Aligned in the thought of expectation is represents being restricted due to expectations or stereotypes of who you are and where you come from. Restricted from society's normalities, not being able to branch off to where you want to go, scared of judgment. And then get me out of the simulation is calling for help silently, knowing it's not a reality, but you struggle finding the truth. Do you have anything else to add to the chorus?
No, I think that was a very, very good explanation.
Cool.
I'll talk about verse 2 now, which was the one I sang. So overall, it's talking about, I guess, just generally continuing on, but also, I guess, further going into the feeling trapped in your mind, not knowing how to escape. So it's, how do I get out of this maze? Is it just in my mind, or is clouded by a haze in the world that's been over-designed? Which I guess, is talking a lot about well, touching on expectations and like, you know, all that kind of thing. Uh, the path that's been laid out for me again, yeah. Will the world have my back if I do what I can't foresee, if I go off the beaten track? So I guess that second half is, yeah, talking about the expectation that people might have for you, and will you still have their support if you do something else, or go off the beaten track? Yeah.
Mm. I think the lyrics are really powerful in what they mean. I think we weren't initially thinking um yeah, thinking about what we were going to say, and I guess it just came out that way, and we had to think about later about what the song was really about,
Mm.
looking deeper than the surface. So I think it's really relevant to our young kids these days. I know it's relevant to me. I'm not sure about you, Cam, but
Yeah, 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 for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, if you do you have anything else to say about the song, about the meaning, the purpose?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of generally been covered. I mean, I guess there's also lots of little intricacies, um, and other things, but yeah.
Mm. Awesome. We have a question from Tyson. How did you guys meet? What's the background on how you got to here? So you're from Mrs. Corridor. Awesome. Shot Tice. We met at school. Cam is in year
11.
11, and I'm in year 12. And I believe we came to the school at the same year, which was that 2017? You as
17.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And Cam was in year 7 and I was in year 8. I remember Cam was in the boys' choir, the Australian boys' choir, and doing classical singing, and awesome singer, really awesome singer.
Thank you.
And yeah, my best friend is also Cam's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, just saying hi to each other in the hallways, I guess. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I'd heard the songs that Brie had been releasing, and thought they were really really cool. And thought it would be cool to do a song together, and then we did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's awesome because the opportunity has been so great, and I've learned a lot from Cam through his production knowledge and recording knowledge and things like that. So yeah, do you have
Yeah.
anything else to say on how we got here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just gonna kind of lead on from that, like how quickly the kind of the song happened,
Mm,
and like the process was super like quick, unexpectedly quick. I mean, I hadn't really done any like collaborations before, so
yeah,
it was kind of a first. But yeah, it was like super like easy and chill, and a lot of fun. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. This was so much fun, and the process was incredibly quick. What
Mm.
did we write this in? We wrote this in, I
I think it
reckon,
was like
4 hours
3.
all up. Yeah, three or
Yeah, I think it
four
was like
hours altogether.
three like Zoom sessions,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it was done.
Yeah, it
It was
was that was it, yeah. It went
yeah,
really quickly. Normally, I know for me, collabing usually takes about a week or two, even 3 weeks sometimes, but with Cam, it was over in a weekend, it was really quick and really good
yeah,
too. It just, I guess for me, this song just kind of flowed out and everything
mm,
worked, and it was really perfectly placed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it all just kind of like happened super like like everything within the song happened super like naturally, and like nothing felt like forced
Yep,
or like
definitely.
or like doing something like for the sake of it.
Yeah. So we have a question from Michael. Hi Michael. He's one of my band members. I also do a duo with him. So he says, I like the rhythm in the last verse. How did you syncopate it? I guess that's a question for you, Cam.
How did we in the last verse? So
Yeah, so in your verse,
in my verse,
the syncopation in your verse, it's a really interesting story actually, Michael.
um, Is it?
It is. So when we recorded this first, we just did it on our phones through voice memos.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
sending each
So it
other
was like,
recordings.
wasn't it like not lined up at first?
Yeah, so Cam
And then it
recorded
kind of,
his part.
yeah, I
Sorry.
recorded. No, 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 all good, all good. Yeah, we did it like on voice memos to kind of just do some rough vocals. And
Yeah.
then I think it started off being like kind of not lined up.
Yeah, so when Cam was
Because
putting it into his on top of the backing track which he created, um he put it into what was it? Lining it up with every beat. All the notes that he sung in his voice memo, which wasn't in time, and that's just how it ended up falling into place. And Cam and I, we both liked it, so decided to
yeah,
sing it back naturally, but with those syncopations that were artificially created in the first
and
um,
it
mix. Yeah,
yeah, and it kind of just fit well,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome, cool.
yeah.
That's my
So
mom. Yeah.
um,
Do you want to talk about the production? Yeah. Don't talk about
yeah,
the
sure.
production. Cool.
I can talk about the production. So I'll just do a bit of talking first. So it started off with the guitar part, which was a MIDI guitar, so it didn't sound very good. In fact, I'll do a screen share now.
Yeah, just for those who
Um,
don't know, MIDI is you know when you go into GarageBand and there's already pre-recorded loop tracks and things like that. That's what MIDI is. Oh, it is. Um, hang on, I explained that really badly. Do
it's
you want to
so
explain it, Cam?
MIDI. So it's a form of, it's something within like your software, and so it's like a software instrument, or you can
Mm,
sample something and make it into an instrument. So yeah. Um Bree,
perfect.
you
That was
might
a
have
good
to
explanation.
when I screen share, you might have to mute auto like feedback.
All good. All good.
Um yeah, so uh the production. So yeah, it started off with um this MIDI guitar, which was this. So that was the start. I did also have a delay on it, but the plugin isn't working. Um so that's that. And then we eventually layered it with Bree playing guitar, which was when she came over and we recorded vocals just in one afternoon, in like an hour or two. And so we did some guitar takes as well. And that was this. So that came out like that, which sounded really nice. And then in the chorus we get a piano. Yeah, and then also a little synth. Just adding some extra texture in the chorus, like thicken up the production and texture a bit. And then I guess I'll talk about the drums now. I mean, it's like I think this is my biggest production, like track wise yet. But each kind of element is fairly simple. So I guess just yeah. Um so just kick, snare, and then I added this little blip, um, which comes in the pre-chorus and chorus, and then is also there in the bridge, and then to the end. Um, so that sounds like this. So I guess it also kind of sounds like something we thought about at the time was it also sounds like a heart rate monitor. Um so yeah. Then there's just some little drum fills. A lot of this stuff in the production was actually quite just like on the fly, just an idea that ended up working. So like there's some little cymbal swells as well. Just adding some, tension and then release. One of the very first elements actually was these vocal chops, which are just samples that I kind of modified. So they kind of add some extra texture. And then there's some more in the chorus. Just adding some extra little like melodic ear candy. And then one of the biggest parts of the production is actually the orchestra, which there is kind of a full essentially orchestra. So the first element is this, is some staccato strings, and then in the chorus thickens out a bit. We get this cello. Just again some extra like melodic elements. And then there's also 2 double bass lines. Oh. Okay, well that's yeah, okay, that's not working. Don't worry about that. There's timpani, and then there's also so there's a couple of different timpani arrangements. Then there's also a bass drum. Like an orchestral bass drum. Then there's some other strings and a brass quartet. Which we'll say isn't working. My laptop actually, I had to reset it, so a lot of my plugins like aren't working. So don't worry about that. Another thing that I've started to do, which I really like doing, is adding like Foley and like natural sound effects. So here in this one, I have a layer of rain. Just like it's very, very quiet. I'll bring it up so you can hear. This is just rain and then the ocean. And then some birds. All like super quiet. Like you just want it very in the background, but it just adds some extra texture. And kind of a foundation for the track. The tuning at the start. This was an idea I had just after school one day. I thought, it would be cool, seeing as there's so many orchestral elements, just to have like an orchestra tuning at the start. So I just found just a recording of an orchestra tuning, and then I extended it a bit past the intro, so it kind of didn't just abruptly stop. And then so all of that together sounds like this. And then there's also the bass. Just a pretty standard 808. And then later in the song, there's also a sub that comes in for a bit of extra low end. I guess we'll talk about the vocals now, if everything's still all good.
Just before we do that, Cam, there's a question from Tice. How long did it take to learn these production skills?
Oh, well, I mean, I've been doing it for like a few years, but I wasn't very good. Well, I mean, I still wouldn't consider myself like great at production, but I've definitely started like improving the most over the last kind of year or so, a year or two maybe. Um, and I guess the main way I learned it was actually just YouTube. Um, I would spend like when I first started out, I'd spend ages just watching like production videos and studio tours, and like each video you'd learn just like a little bit of info. Um, and yeah, that was honestly how I learned, and just practice as well. You get better, like you learn a new technique or something each time you make a song. Yeah.
Definitely. If you just go back to your screen, if that's cool, I'd love to talk about the um, orchestral part in the chorus. So we have, is it the violins doing triplets? Um,
Yeah.
in so the violins are doing continuous triplets in the in the chorus, which is in 4/4. Do you want to play the chorus, Cam?
Yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
can listen to that. Awesome.
Um So yeah, there's these yeah, you can see that on an arpeggiator which is set at this rate, which is a triplet
Mm.
meter.
So it
Um
almost sounds like a hemiola if you listen to it on its own with can you pair that with the piano?
I can.
Awesome.
So with the piano, I'll just do it with this section. So you can hear even that contrast with the guitar part, which is
Exactly,
which
yeah.
is playing the 4/4 rhythms.
Yeah.
So all of that, I guess, just adds those little intricacies
Yeah,
that add
exactly.
interest.
Yeah.
Um
Just for those who don't know also, that a hemiola, what it is when you think it's in a different timing to what it's actually in. So yeah, just thought that was really interesting. Also, the texture, just before we dive into the vocals, the texture of the song I think is really interesting and important. Um, it starts off to be quite thin, and sparse, but there's what have we got? We've got guitar, rhythm, so we've got percussion, rhythm, and harmony, um, but few layers of each. And then when we get into the chorus, we've got the addition of lower strings in the orchestra. What else is there, Cam? Synthesizer. Um,
Yeah, in the chorus, yeah, a lot of things. So there's I guess some extra synths. There's in the second chorus, we have like a little lead, adding some
mm,
extra like I guess counter melody
counter
type.
melodies, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there's also lots of string parts. Oh, sorry, I can't play them.
Yeah, that's
I
why we
forgot
use
about.
MIDI.
Um,
But no, I think all those little counter melodies and harmonies, all those extra um, uh, rhythmic ideas and things that you thought of, Cam, are really um, that they add a lot to the song and give it some more
yeah.
body, give it much more texture. So yeah, before we start talking about vocals, we've got a question from Michael here again, that says, how did you do the really high voice? Cam, do you want to answer that one?
The really high voice?
Yeah, you know the I'm a puppet in Dreamland part. Um,
The harmony or just the
um,
melody line?
yeah, it's a single melody line, yeah. At the beginning, and throughout the song, there's yeah, the repetition of I'm a puppet in Dreamland, and that reoccurs in a higher register, yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about how you did that?
Um, just how I did the melody or
Like so there's I sing I'm a puppet in Dreamland, and then you sing I'm a puppet in Dreamland, and then I sing it again, but you edit it so that it's an octave higher.
the
Yeah.
the little intro bit. Oh yeah, yeah, sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
My mistake.
All good, all
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah. So I just chopped out a little bit of the recording and then just pitched it up so I can show you. Yeah, so here this is it. So it's just I think this is actually from the original voice memo. I think it might I don't know if it's from the original voice memo or from the re-recording, but yes, you can see here. So um and then if we look here, I've pitched it up 12 semitones, which is an octave. And then the formants, so that's like it's almost like throat size is kind of the equivalent of it, which is so a lower formant value will sound like more like chipmunky, you could say. And then so like if I change this all the way, it sounds very chipmunky, but if I do that, it sounds more like Bree's original singing. And then the envelope is like it's a spectral kind of control over that, so it's a bit more control. Yeah, so that just pitched that up an octave, and then there's some tuning because often when you pitch something up, even like the slightest pitch variation can kind of be emphasized, and I wanted those little ad libs to be really like kind of in tune. And then there's an EQ cutting out all of the lows and the highs to almost give it like a telephone kind of effect. And then sorry, I'm kind of probably going a bit too in depth here, but
Keep going, Cam.
all right. So there's some RC20, which is one of my favorite plugins. It adds, like a retro feeling or vibe to it. So here I've got a bit of wobble, which is like some pitch variation, some tube distortion, a bit of reverb, and some like kind of wear effect. So like on a vinyl. And then there's also another low and high cut. And then some auto pan, which like automatically like pans it left and right, depending on like the parameters you've set. So it kind of shifts it from like your left ear to right ear, like constantly. So it kind of provides like some stereo field kind of
Yeah. Also, just another
action.
thing. We forgot to explain a counter melody. So what a counter melody is, it is so in a song, in a normal song, you'll have your accompaniment, which is the chords and everything that's below, like the bass, the drums and the rhythm. Then you'll have harmony. Then you'll have a melody, which is the main line, the main voice of the song, and then you'll have harmony on top of that, which is adding more layers that are different notes that work with the main melody of the song. So what a counter melody is, it sits underneath the melody, and it's its own line of the song. That's not the harmony, it's not the accompaniment, and it's not the main melody, but it sits underneath, and it just lifts the texture up a little bit, and adds some more interest to the layers of the song. So with that violin counter melody, orchestral counter melody, what that did, it wasn't a part of the harmony, so it didn't add more structure and texture to the chords or the accompaniment. And it was its own little, it was its own little line, which sat underneath the melody and supported it a little bit more. So
Yeah, and
that
there's another example. Oh, sorry. Um,
yeah, show us the other one, yeah.
yes, there's another one in the final chorus. There's a little synth line that's fairly simple, but oh, where is it?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
synth line. That is interesting too. That's really interesting.
it's just and so that just repeats a few times. And yeah, so it
Mm.
adds so when you listen to it in the full context. Yeah, so it adds some extra like texture to the song, and then yeah, so it kind of works with the main melody, but adds a bit of extra interest. Um,
Mm.
and then I can
Another
show
thing. Oh, sorry.
what this is gonna work. Okay, maybe not. We'll no, we'll leave that for the moment.
Cool. Another thing is that this song is so dense in reverb and delay and ambience, which I'm sure you would agree, Cam, gives us that dreamland vibe. So musically, the way Cam edited it um, was really did reflect that the song's meaning and purpose, I guess. So, you have anything to add there, Cam?
Yeah, so about like the effects
Yeah,
and that kind
yeah,
of
the
thing. Yeah, yeah.
effects.
So yeah, so I wanted kind of a big kind of reverb, like lush reverb, particularly on the vocals, because that kind of gave it, yeah, that dreamy feeling. Um, I guess I could talk about the vocal effects now. I
Yeah,
could go into a bit more
let's do
detail.
that.
Yeah, I'll just go do this. But yeah, so I kind of added yeah, some fairly big reverbs. Which also then brings in its own challenge because you have to make sure that then that doesn't get like muddy within the mix because often when you have
Exactly, yeah.
yeah really long reverbs it can kind of overtake stuff a bit. So
Yeah.
on here I've got there's some there's a de-esser which takes away like like the harsh sibilant sounds. Then there's some like saturation, which kind of warms up the sound a bit. An EQ taking out a lot of the lows, because that's another thing with vocals is when you have the lows, they can get a bit like muddy and don't sit great within the mix. Because just a quick thing about mixes, you want kind of each instrument to have almost their own little bit of the mix. You don't want instruments kind of overlapping and like taking up important parts of the others, like uh, kind of spectral range. And
Mm.
then a little high boost to bring out some kind of like the nice presence that is really nice with vocals. Then this is the big bit. So this is an audio effect rack, which means I can have lots of effects running in parallel. So it's so rather than being like this way, like rather than being in landscape kind of like going through each other, you can have them running in parallel. So I have just the dry chain, which has nothing on it. You can see it's just blank. Then I have two compressors, then a flanger.
What does a compressor do, Cam?
So it basically levels out the signal. So if you have like high like peaks in a waveform, it'll it'll bring those down, and if you have really quiet bits, it'll bring those up. So it's really good if you have kind of dynamic variation, but you don't want to have to do lots of like automation to bring out the quiet bits. You can compress it. So I have
Mm.
two compressors running very heavily, but quietly, because it can also make it louder. And then yeah, flanger, which adds. I'll do a little example. Which sounds like this. So it kind of adds this like almost psychedelic, kind of trippy
Yeah.
feeling. And then a delay, a slap delay, so very like quick. Also quiet.
Yeah. Like a quick echo.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mm.
then there's a short reverb. So you can see here the decay time is only 620 milliseconds, which is very short. Then there's a long reverb, which is very long. And then on this, so that I've automated in some spots. So like when there was hold on. When there was like in the verse, if you wanted a bit more reverb, you could I'd automated that. And then in the chorus, when there's more elements, you might want a bit less because that's when it can get particularly muddy. Yeah, so that's that. So there's a reverb and then a saturator, which brings out like some harmonics and adds some like warmth to it, and then a phaser, which does a similar thing to the flanger, adds a similar effect. And then there's also a few more EQs, taking out lows, because after all of that, the lows can build up like from all the reverbs particularly. And then there's also a compressor leveling out some more of the peaks, and then a few other things. Yeah, and that's kind of the main bits. On the harmonies, I have another EQ and a little bit of tuning, because that's another thing similar to the ad libs that you just want to be quite locked, like you want that to be quite locked into the pitch.
Mm.
On the main vocals, there's no tuning and there's no processing other than like some gain automation, and the ad libs already touched on. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So that is all really, really interesting stuff. And even though you've only been doing this for a very short amount of time, you've got a really great understanding of all the nicks and necks of mixing and production. So yeah, those are
Yeah.
all really good tricks.
Yeah,
um
it's mixing is definitely still something I need to kind of master a bit more. It's especially trickier when you have lots of elements, because it's easy to miss. Like when you haven't got that kind of trained ear, it's easy to miss like conflicting elements
exactly, yeah.
or little things. But yeah.
Mm. Actually, onto that, there's a really good question here. What were some of the challenges in the process of writing, mixing, and production?
Yeah. Well, I feel like there weren't many challenges in writing it. There were kind of only some brief like bits where,
Yeah, I think
you know,
for me, um, writing was easy. It was really
mm,
smooth and easy, and
like
we
there
didn't
would
have
only
any
be the
challenges.
occasional. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you
There, there,
continue.
there would just be the occasional, like, if we were trying to find like a word that rhymed or just little things like
Mm.
that. Like, I feel like conceptually there weren't really any
Yeah,
challenges.
yeah, yeah. We split it really nicely and among us, and yeah, there were no challenges in the writing, but what about the mixing and the production?
Yeah, so the production, I feel like the actual kind of production side of it was super, like, it came together really easily, almost like the writing. And we were kind of doing both of them like simultaneously. So
Mm.
that came together super, super easily. It all kind of worked. Um, the mixing was a bit of a challenge. Um, I yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Paul at Indie Masters Mastering. He's a legend.
Definitely.
He helped out so much with the mixing. I just wanted to say that our email chain ended up being like over 50 emails. It was crazy. He helped out so much just refining like the initial mixes that I was doing. Um so that was kind of a challenge because there were like a lot more elements than I would normally have in a song. And then
Mm.
I ended up sending the stems, which is so a stem is like a either an individual track bounced to like an audio file or a group of tracks. So I sent over some stems and he like finalized some more technical sides of the mix and then mastered the track. Um so yeah, but yeah, so the mix was quite challenging. Which is why, I ended up handing it over to Paul for kind of the final like tidy up of it.
Yeah, yeah. And a question from Michael. When I recorded guitar, I play once and pan left and record the same track and pan right. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, well, a similar thing with actually, yeah, we did do that with this
Yeah,
song. We recorded kind of a variation of the we recorded a
yeah.
variation of the thing. I'll just show you.
And what that does, just for the people that don't know, we recorded, well, I recorded the guitar track once, and then did the same thing again. Instead of copying and pasting it, that would make it that would double the volume, make it more heavy. So recording it again adds more body to the guitar track. And Cam, if you want to talk about the panning,
Yeah, well, I'll just quickly add to that as well. Like we changed one tiny rhythmic element in the two
we
recordings,
did,
so that kind of added even more
yeah.
variation. And then I'll share my screen. So we did in the guitars. So you can see that's my great naming. So this is the guitar with we added a little like embellish kind of rhythm thing. And so
Mm.
this guitar doesn't have that. Oh, it's frozen again. Okay. All right. Well, we can okay. Well, either way, I'll just explain it. So I recorded with two mics. One of them was a dynamic, which was close miking the guitar, and then the other was a condenser, which was actually on my table because I only have one mic stand. So it was a bit of a scuffed setup, but we got that. And then I panned one of the I panned so the close mic I panned hard left on one of the takes with less rhythmic embellishments. And then oh yeah, and then I panned the condenser recording not hard right, but seemingly like a fair bit right. And then the uh recording with the kind of extra rhythmy bits I just left centered. So then you kind of get this wider stereo field and then plus the one in the center. Yeah.
Mm.
So that was kind of the
We
process of
have
that.
we have another question from Tyson, Shot Tice. How do you know when to stop editing? And when do you know when a song is done? That
I
is a
would
very
love
good question.
this. Yeah, when I saw that pop up, I was like, I would like to. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a good question. So uh, to both of those things, you never do. You
you
never
never
know.
do. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it never
So
really is done. Yeah.
no. So even in this, in like, even with the release song, there are things that I was like, I forgot to do that, or I should have done that. Like you definitely have to make a conscious effort to say, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to send this off because you could just there are so many like there's always going to be that one little thing like you
Yeah,
forgot to put
yeah,
a fill somewhere or you forgot to pan that thing or that volume was a tiny bit too loud. So songs never really done like there's always going to be that one bit you can add or that one synth part you can add. um
yeah, yeah. I
it's
think
never done.
yeah, exactly. If I relate that back to my songs and my production of the songs that I released, there were so many things. I kept sending it back and forth to my producer, making sure that everything was perfect. And even still, when I released it, I wasn't happy with some little things, but when you listen to it over 100 times, it all gets really stuck, and
And
that's
just
the yeah,
adding on to that, I think that's a reason it's so important to get like other people to listen to it, and
exactly.
kind of just even if they're not like musicians, just getting someone's
Mm.
opinion on it who hasn't listened to it, 100 times.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's awesome
Yeah.
to collab, because you've got two sets of
Mhm.
ears. And then we also had our mixer and master as well, Paul. So yeah, three is better than one.
But yeah, a song is never done. It's just,
It's never
released
done.
or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
sent out or yeah.
yeah. Um, I reckon we should start talking about what's coming up next for us. So we actually had a
Yeah.
comment earlier from my mum. Any plans for more songs in the near future? So we actually we are working on doing an acoustic cover of Dreamland
Yeah,
with a
like a
video as well. Yeah, a
live
live
version.
recording version. Yeah, exactly. And so when we both get a little bit of free time, we'll be keen on doing that.
Mm.
We're
Yeah.
also super keen to make an EP or an album, or just produce some more songs together, because we both
Yeah.
really found collabing with each other easy. Is that how you felt, Cam? How did you feel
Yeah,
about
yeah,
collabing?
definitely. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was just yeah, a great process, a great experience. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, no, it was really easy, and it all came really quickly. And working with Cam as well, a producer who's awesome, and he knows his way around the all the little tricks and things like that. So yeah, it's really great to work with someone who's really knowledgeable in that field, and in that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're super keen to produce more. I really want to do some now, but with year 12 and all that, it's getting a bit tricky to find some free time. So as soon as we as soon as we get some free time, I'm sure we'll be onto that. But yeah, here's Cam's at, if you want to follow him on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, that would be, very much appreciated.
Very appreciated. He's also got Spotify um under his name, Cameron Gilchrist. Um, so yeah, I think now we can talk about what the audience can do. That's my one too.
Yeah. Yeah, go and
Add me
follow
up.
follow Bree and yeah, also on Spotify. So yeah,
Sure,
go and
Cam.
check out her songs if you haven't. They're very, very good.
Yeah, so that's what you can do to help support us, and we'd
Yeah, and
also
share
love
it.
to. Yeah, you go.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
share
you
it.
just, share it with
Yeah,
your friends and
yeah,
your
yeah,
family and
yeah.
yeah,
Share it
that's the
around. Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be really helpful for us, and we'd be really grateful. But yeah, we'd also love for more people to support young people with passions and with dreams of being musicians and being artists and things like that. So if there are any young musicians out there or any musicians out there that want to do something with us, or anything like that, or need to reach out for some help with anything or something like that, feel free. Our ats were just played then, so feel free
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hit us up.
definitely.
And
Yeah, reach out.
yeah, yeah, because we know as young people that it's very difficult to
It is.
navigate by
It
yourself.
is.
It is, especially when you have amazing ideas. um that imposter syndrome becomes something, and then you start second guessing yourself. What I said is don't be afraid of judgment and just keep doing you. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think we should
I
wrap it
think
up now? Do you have anything else to
yeah,
say?
I think that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. In the comments, there's Cameron's link tree, which has all the links to him, all the links to his things that he does, his songs and his Instagram, and whatever else is on there. Thank you, Michael.
And
And
yeah, thank you everyone for watching. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, for supporting us, supporting our music and our journeys. Yeah, so keep sharing our song around. We had some trouble with Spotify. We didn't um actually reach 5,000 plays, but we're very close. We're very close.
We're just over 1,000 away. Yeah,
Yeah,
Spotify
yeah,
accidentally like overcounted, which is
yeah.
quite disappointing, but it
A
happens.
bummer.
So
But we'll get there. We'll still get there.
yeah,
So
we'll
keep sharing
truly
this
get there.
around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Share it with your family and friends and things like that. And look out for our live acoustic version that we get. We'll keep you up to date with all that, and
Yeah,
hopefully for future productions as well. And
yeah, we'd love
yeah,
to have
once again, yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Tyson, for making this happen. We had some crazy trouble, and Tyson came in and saved the day. So thank you
yeah.
so,
Thank
so,
you.
so much. And another shout out to Namaste Pudua and everyone else. Shot ties. Awesome. I think that's us. But
Yeah,
any questions, feel free to send us a message through our
yeah.
Instagrams or our Facebook. Anything else you wanted to say, Cam?
No, I think that's everything. Yeah, just always feel free to reach out. Yeah, happy to like answer any questions or chat about anything. Or yeah,
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
thanks everyone.
Cool.